I was a Los Angeles police officer for 17 years, working in South Central Los Angeles. Pretty much spent my entire career as a gang officer. I ended up having a partner named Christina Rapati, and we became best friends, and then eventually started dating, and eventually got married. So on June 3rd, 2006, she's working crime suppression and sees a guy on the sidewalk double timing it. This guy had just went in and done an armed robbery at a little convenience store, and he is now on foot heading back into the neighborhood with the money. She chases him around a corner. He spins and sticks a .22 revolver up underneath her armpit, shoots her, instantly paralyzes her, and she drops to the ground. The suspect stands over her and shoots her 3 more times, trying to execute her. And luckily, her partner hit the suspect in the shoulder, spun him around. The second round hit him in the back and went through his aorta. He dropped next to Christina and died, pretty quick. So in the end, she becomes a T2 paraplegic, basically paralyzed from the nipple line down. And in the following years, if there was any possibility she could walk again, we were chasing down that lead. There was a lot of physical therapy where they used electrical muscle stimulation. So I put it on my bicep and I was trying to learn how to use it. So I'm messing with the dials, before I put it on Christina. And all of a sudden it kicked on and it completely contracted my bicep, and it held my bicep contracted like that instantly. And I thought, wow, that's immediate, totally immobilizing, totally distracting, and that's totally out of my control. And I thought about it. I go, God, that's a lot like getting shot. Ultimately, I end up hiring an electrical engineer and 2 North Face clothing designers who were freelancing on the side. What we ended up making were neoprene sleeves that you slide on, zip them up, and inside they have conductive fabrics on the inner forearm, the outer forearm, and the bicep. The officer puts on a little backpack, and I could literally, with the remote control a trainee's body. I could simulate that he's been hit by gunfire. I just press a button on the remote and lock down his bicep and give him a chicken wing, and now he has no choice, right? So he's got to do all his one-handed manipulations and returning fire under real duress. We did one scenario where we had an officer in the front seat of the patrol car. We hit him in the right arm as if he's been shot. Now he has to throw the car in park with his support hand. Maybe he has to get his seatbelt off. Then he's got to cross-draw the weapon out of double or triple retention holster, which is extremely difficult. And he's got to lay down rounds from the seated position inside the car. And he's got to get out of the car. So he's got a pistol in his hand. And usually what they do is they have to use their pinky to pull the lever on the door and their foot to kick the door open. So then he's got to return fire as he gets to the back of the car where he's seeking cover. And at that point, we usually say, okay, suspect's down. Now get your tourniquet on. They cannot cheat, right? Because this hand is completely pinned, and then they got to work the action of the tourniquet and get it set all the way down under real duress, or huffing and puffing. This is real life. This is how it's going to be. So I started thinking, okay, I'm definitely on to something here. Most police officers, when they get hired, they might not have a lot of experience. They just want to do the right thing. It is so overwhelming, and you have so much responsibility, and they hand you a gun, and they basically tell you, look, you're the last line of defense. You have to fight to your death if you have to. And nobody knows if they can do that. And so if a recruit goes through, 2 or 3 scenarios where he's able to take a hit into the extremity and then return fire and actually hit his target under real duress, he's going to come out of the academy much more prepared, much calmer. And a calm officer can see more options, more de-escalation options, can think of things to say rather than having finger on the trigger and panic shooting. AuFire is going to prepare people coming out of the academy with confidence and a higher level of resilience. I got introduced to 3 SEAL team members. One of them was a team leader from SEAL Team 6, Dom Rosso. And then we ran him through some scenarios. I started simulating gunshots on him, and he was over the moon with this thing. He loved it. He said, man, I wish I had this when I was on the teams. This is the best training tool I've ever used. I've had multiple people who've been shot try AuFire. 3 of them have told me it was worse than getting shot. What they all said is that when they got shot, they couldn't feel it. They had so much adrenaline, and they had a problem to solve because the limb wasn't working, right? But they couldn't feel the pain. They said that it actually overtrains you for getting shot. All the people that I meet, the trainers who experience AuFire, that's what they're telling me too. This is a game changer. This is going to save lives.